Well, good morning. Good to have you. And hope that you're having a good week to this point. Hopefully, things are just rolling right along. Hope you can look back and see what the Lord has done for you this week. I increased the volume on the mic on this. I don't know how it sounds or not. Someone shared yesterday that was a little bit quiet. And anyway, if this is helpful, let me know. If it is not, then we'll try to continue to work on it. I don't want your volume cranked all the way up to 100%. And so, anyway, good to have you. And all eyes are on the weather maps again. We'll see what happens this weekend. Not looking all that grand. At least this time they're calling just snow. Last time they were calling for just ice. And so, anybody can have the ice as far as I'm concerned. I don't mind the snow, I can deal with that, but the ice has just been miserable. And so we'll see what happens. Unfortunately, if we get really much of anything, it is going to put our Sunday very much into jeopardy, being able to get into the parking lot. We had church last night, but most people were unable even to get there. And so, anyway, we'll see. But Lord knows. And uh, excuse me. I'm sorry for that. I feel a sneeze coming. But anyway, Lord knows, and we'll see what happens. Uh, it looks like a lot of really hard snow, I think, is going to be east of us. And it's just going to depend on how far west that storm tracks. And so I think there's going to be a lot of difference here in our area. We are truly right on the line within I don't know, 10 to 20 mile difference. I think is going to make quite a bit of difference. And so we'll see. But don't know. We'll find out. That's all I can say. Well, I want to get into our study this morning in Second Peter chapter number 1, and what we're going to find is that the Christian life takes work, and to be quite honest with you, I'm lazy. I'm lazy when it comes to my Christian walk. I'm lazy when it comes to a lot of things, and I've reflected on this, and it's like last night was speaking on the importance of prayer, and in my own study, it's like, okay, well, you know what? Sometimes I actually have to pray. I can know all the facts about things, and I can know how to pray, or I can know the terminology for prayer, and I can understand the necessity of faith in prayer. I can look at all of these things, but it does me no good to have that kind of knowledge if I don't pray. I can know that God answers prayer. Okay, well, that's fine, but and can be an encouragement. But if that doesn't prompt me into a more in-depth prayer life, then what good did that knowledge actually do? And I think for so many Christians, we are content to just possess a level of knowledge. We know a lot of facts about the Bible, and some have grown up in church all of their lives. And there's a reality to their Christian life that if they were on a Bible trivia team, they might even win. They might know the answers to the questions. But are we putting those answers to the questions of our life? Are we really putting forth the effort that is necessary for the Christian life? I can sit here and say this morning, well, you know what? I'd like to lose weight. Well, fat man's going to have to get in the gym. Okay, there's just some realities that if that's what I want to accomplish, then I'm going to have to take some steps to achieve that. I'm going to have to watch what I eat and when I eat. I'm going to have to force myself into exercise and all of those things. I can't continue to just do the same thing and expect there all of a sudden to be a different result. And so, what we discover here in this text this morning is that growth is going to take effort. I made a statement yesterday, I think it was yesterday, maybe the day before, that the limitations to godliness are self imposed. In other words, I determine how godly I want to be. And unfortunately, sometimes those limitations are based on my time, based on my schedule, based on my desires, based on the job, based on money, based on family, based on all these things. And when it's all said and done, I will reach the end of my life and say, you know what? I really didn't put forth the effort into growing in my Christian life. It takes work, but the rewards behind it are great. All right, now let's look at this text in Second Peter chapter number 1, beginning in verse number 5. He says, beside this, giving all diligence. Let me just stop right there. So basically, beside this, and this also. Okay, so here's another thing that Peter's going to say. But I want to direct our attention to this phrase of giving all diligence. There is a phrase, the concept behind the word is going to suggest putting forth every effort. There's a lot of work that's going to take place into it. I can't help but picture some of these Olympic athletes and all of the discipline that it takes to get to that kind of a level. I remember hearing an interview years ago with Tom Brady and the longtime quarterback for the New England Patriots, and boy, the diet and the work and just the training that he went through, the discipline. He was a phenomenal quarterback, one that played truly as an elite level quarterback, but yet there was a lot of work behind the scenes. Okay, there's effort that's going to have to take place in the Christian life. And the question then is, am I willing to put forth this kind of effort? Now, as we look at these things, these different qualities, what we're going to note is that these are not just facts that I have to learn. These are principles. These are ways of life that I need to start enacting in my life. And so he says, beside this, giving all diligence, add to your faith. So I have the responsibility to be increasing and growing in the Christian life. Now, that is not to say that I am taking the work of the Holy Spirit. Obviously, it's the Holy Spirit who is going to produce the fruit in my Christian life, but I have an effort. I have an expectation to put forth an effort that is going to result in my growth. So he says, add to your faith, add to this basic body of your Christian life, add virtue. Virtue describes a character that is just excellent. We're looking at someone that we might say is of outstanding character. This is someone that has, maybe we describe it as an exceptional character. This is who this person is. Bring the finest character that you can have. Well, I'll tell you what, let's take a good look at our lives and see, do my actions reflect that level of character? Add then to virtue. You remember those growing up, those old telescopes, the telescopic things that you had as a kid, and they just kind of had different layers. You can pull that thing out, 2 or 3 different layers. That's kind of the picture of what's going on here. Add to your faith virtue, this excellent commitment or this finest character. And then add to your virtue knowledge. Here we are dealing with an understanding, a grasping of certain facts spiritually. There is this reality. We can't downplay that, but the problem is we can't stop there. And I think sometimes we've got all sorts of extremes, and I'm just going to say there's nothing godly about ignorance. In fact, ignorance to me is very repulsive. And there are those that will get up and say, well, if you got the level of knowledge, it's just going to make you cold and indifferent. Okay, well, that's a personal problem. That's not the result of knowledge. The more knowledge that a person has, regarding the things of God, it needs to impact his life. And if he's content with just the facts, there's an issue there. But this knowledge is something that we need to have. We need to be grasping spiritual concepts and understanding them. We ought to be understanding more today than we have ever understood. Then add to this knowledge, temperance. Temperance has the idea of self-control. Boy, sometimes we want to say the things we shouldn't say. We want to react in the way that we shouldn't react. We just want to let it all out. Well, that's the opposite of what we're talking about. This level of self-control recognizes that there are certain things that I need to be restraining myself on, my desires, my reactions, my thoughts, all of these things. I need to be exercising self-restraint. Okay, continues on. It says, to temperance, patience. Okay. Patience is not the picture of just waiting in line while someone is checking out. Patience has the idea of being able to hold out under difficult circumstances. It speaks of an endurance. It speaks of a spiritual toughness and resolve that's there. Okay, so many times as soon as it's difficult, we just want to give up. We just want to look for something easier. We want to maybe I need a different career, maybe I need a different job, maybe I need a different relationship. Okay, no, you don't. Okay, Just get some guts about you, some spiritual guts, and if that's offensive, then well, let's grow up a little bit. But all right, but get some toughness about you, and and recognize that this is how I need to function. To patience, he says, add godliness. There's a piety, so to speak. The idea is going to be a devotion, maybe let's say it that way, a devotion to God, where I truly live a life that is pleasing to Him. To godliness, we're to add brotherly kindness, and affection for each other. And then I find it interesting because then you go from this affection to charity, to a sacrificial love. I'm just going to say, I think that as independent fundamental Baptists, we have not done well there. We've dotted our I's and crossed our T's theologically, but we have lost compassion. And we just, it's troublesome to me to see how Christians, professing Christians, act towards each other. The things that are posted on Facebook, the things that the responses that we have, the isolation, the we're better than everyone else mindset. Listen, that is not honoring to the Lord. Find someone to love, and it doesn't take long. Okay, look for someone to serve and be a blessing to. That's the Christian life, and somehow in our perfect theology in our own minds, we have lost an extremely important element, and that element is just simply compassion. Doesn't mean that you accept someone lifestyle in the sense of condoning it, but you accept that person for who they are and where they are and the challenges that they may bring, and you love on that person regardless of those things. You have an affection, you have a sacrificial love. Just think if we demonstrated that kind of love. Remember, Jesus said that by this shall all men know that you are my disciples if you have love one to another. That's the test. And I'm just going to say, when the world sees Christians, professing Christians, spouting off on Facebook and arguing over this and arguing over that, we are hindering the cause of Jesus Christ. And if you are one of those keyboard warriors, set it down. Go find someone who's lost and share the gospel with them. Do something for the Lord instead of just sitting behind your phone or your computer, being a Facebook warrior. Get out and do something. There's too much in our lives to just be sitting back and doing nothing. And there's just frustrating to no end for me to see this. I wonder sometimes, do people even have a life? Really? Because it's like the things that people are arguing on, and just beyond foolish. Let's not be guilty of those things. So there's a lot of things, a lot of expectations that we have to be adding into our Christian life, and these are things that we need to be putting every effort into doing. Well, let's strive to do so, and let's see what God gives us today and how we might apply this. So I appreciate each one of you being on this morning. I hope you have a good day today. And hopefully the volume's a little bit better. Let me know if it is still a struggle. If it is, I'll make some more adjustments, and we'll see what happens. Appreciate you guys. Have a great day today. God bless you. Take care.